This is my first class for the Maressa Center, and I'm really excited about it. This class is about the vagus nerve. And if you have never heard of this nerve, then I think that you'll find this is really interesting information. If you have heard of it before, you can think of this as a little refresher course. But the vagus nerve is one of our cranial nerves. So we have 12 cranial nerves, and the vagus nerve is our 10th cranial nerve. So it's cranial nerve X. And it starts at the base of our skull and runs through our neck. It runs through our throat. It runs through our heart, into the diaphragm, the stomach, all the major organs, and ends in the large intestine. The vagus nerve is the superhighway between the gut and the brain. So if you've heard of the brain-gut connection, then you've heard of the vagus nerve. When our vagus nerve is activated, we are in a state of parasympathetic nervous system. So that state of rest and digest, of calm and connected. And that's where we want to operate. We hope that that's where we operate from day to day. However, many of us get stuck in fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system. And that is an underactive or inactive vagus nerve when we are operating consistently from fight or flight. So I always want to mention, you need to have your sympathetic nervous system operating. You want to get off of that dark corner or flee a burning building. It's also the nervous system of engagement. You need your sympathetic nervous system to be on board when you have an interview or you go on a date. Or you just have a big day planned and you need to get up in the morning and hit the ground running. That is your fight or flight nervous system response. It's also the system of engagement. The problem happens is when we get stuck and we can't seem to turn it off. Luckily, there are some really simple, easy, accessible ways to activate your vagus nerve. So, as I said, it starts at the base of the skull and runs all the way down through until it ends in the large intestine. So yoga poses, specific yoga poses, will help to activate the vagus nerve. However, the vagus nerve also has innervations in the face. So we're going to start there and then work our way down, and we'll end with a meditation. In the face, the vagus nerve does not run through the face, but there are nerve endings that it has connections with in the eyes, in the ears, in the jaw. So we'll begin with some facial massage. Find a place to sit that feels comfortable to you. And I will do the same. So we want to sit up nice and tall. We don't want to be slouching because we want to make sure that we have this nice full breath. So sitting in your chair, we're going to take our peace sign fingers and just bring them to our temples and just make some small circles. It doesn't matter what direction you go in, excuse me, because we're going to go the other way as well eventually. So nice and slow. And because we're just beginning, we don't have to think about anything else. Just close your eyes if it feels good. Or you can keep them open, whatever feels safest for you. And now go the other way. So just reverse that direction of the circles. And you can notice your breath here, but we don't have to do anything to manipulate it, not yet. That comes later. And then letting that go, bring your fingers or your knuckles. So if you have long fingernails, it might not work. So you can bend your finger and use your knuckle and find the space in your ear. I'll get closer to you so you can see. That is just above this kind of horizontal line of cartilage. There's this little divot. So right there. So put your fingertips or your knuckle right in that little indentation. Ah, there it is. And you'll know it when you feel it. And same thing, little circles. If it's a lot to keep your arms up like this, feel free to bring your elbows in. You can even put them on your knees or on a table. You don't have to keep them lifted up like this. But here we go. Let's just make those circles. There's a lot of vagus nerve connection in the ears. Go the other way, so reverse that circle. And then you can let that go. And I like to just take my fingers and just kind of massage all along the outside edges of my ears, coming all the way down. When I get to the earlobe, I just give it a little tug and go back up the way that I came. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just a little squeeze, a little pinch, a little kind of massaging or kneading the edges of your ears. And of course, you can do any of these for as long as you want. Let's do one more back up and down. So if you do this on your own time, spend as much time as feels good, as feels necessary, as feels sensible. And then once you're back down to kind of giving that little tug on the earlobes, as long as we're here in the neighborhood, bring your fingers, it doesn't matter, I use my peace sign, but you can use other fingers if that feels better, to your jaw and make some circles. Now, a note here about your jaw. If you have jaw issues, past trauma, injury, TMJ, anything like that, move your hands to just behind your jaw. So they're kind of at the very top of your neck. You're still going to get the same benefit. But I certainly don't want you to massage an area that doesn't feel good or that brings up a memory of some sort of trauma. So jaw or neck, and then go the other way. So this is just the very beginning of starting to activate the vagus nerve, starting to get the shift and set up that super highway information between the gut and the brain and the brain and the gut. 80% of the messages that are sent from the gut to the brain are sent along the vagus nerve. And then you can let that go. And if you want to just kind of shake your hands out, if you feel like they get a little stiff from doing all that massage, then go ahead. And we'll do one more thing here. This is one of my favorite things to do to activate the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve loves when you are connected to another human being. It loves nothing more than when you are in conversation with a friend. And the way to mimic that is by doing this. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. So it doesn't matter how far it goes. Just let your neck kind of release and soften. Sometimes it takes a while. It depends on so many things. Maybe you slept funny or you have some soreness from some activity, or you just have a chronically stiff neck. So take the time that it takes to let your neck kind of release into this. And if you have to, put a hand on the side of your head, as long as you're not yanking down on your head, sometimes that weight provides a little bit of help, assistance. And then from here, you're going to, so our ear is down to our right shoulder, you're going to look up to the left upper corner of your space. So as far up and over to the left as you can. What we're doing here is activating the vagus nerve in our neck and our eyes. And if you wanted to add an extra layer here, you could hum your favorite tune, whatever that may be, or just hum something, you know, that means nothing. It's just a random hum. Something like that. But keep looking, activating the vagus nerve as it splinters off into the eyes, the neck, and the throat. And then we'll let that go by bringing your eyes back to center, maybe blink a few times to get used to this new way. Remove the hand if it's there, and bring your head all the way back up. You should feel a difference between the right and left sides of your neck. Left ear to left shoulder. And remember, it doesn't matter how far your head goes. We're not worried about that. We're not thinking about it at all. It's just a way to get the head to tip so that we can look up and over a little bit more. And of course, it activates the vagus nerve in the neck. So each side of your neck is different. Our body is not symmetrical as much as we might like to think that it is. But here we are. Maybe a hand on the head would be helpful. And remember, we're not pressing down. It's just the weight of our hand, which, I don't know, it's ounces. Whenever you feel ready, take your eyes now this time up to the upper right corner. So as far up and over to the right as you can muster. And don't worry if it's different from the other side. And breathe. Sometimes when we are involved in an activity where we're doing more than one thing, the first thing that we forget to do is breathe. It's the first thing to go. So make sure you're breathing. And if you are not sure that you're breathing, then hum. You need to breathe in order to hum. You don't have to have a good voice to hum. That's the beauty of humming. Looking up and over, mimicking that conversation with a friend. Your eyes are engaged, your throat is engaged. As though you're looking into the eyes of a loved one and talking. If you are ready, then go ahead and shift your eyes back to center. Blink a few times. I always have to blink a few times. Remove the hand if the hand is there. And then slowly bring the neck up. Notice how your neck feels. And if you want to maybe do some really small circles with your neck, like maybe there's a pencil on the top of your head and you're drawing a circle on the ceiling, a really small circle, as long as it doesn't make you feel dizzy. Maybe go the other way. And then come back to center. We're going to do one last self-massage to activate the vagus nerve as it runs through our neck. So it starts at the base of the skull, as I've said, and it splinters off and runs down either side of your neck. And we want to be careful when we massage the neck because the vagus nerve runs through the carotid sheath. So if you press too hard, it can make you feel, lightheaded. Bring one hand in front of the other, it doesn't matter what hand. So your fingers kind of make a crosshatch and your thumbs are wide, like a W. And then bring your fingers or your hand close to your throat, and then place your thumbs up under your jaw. And then stroke down with the thumbs all the way down to your collarbone. So our hands are not touching our neck, just our thumbs come all the way up. I'll get closer so you can see this a little bit better. And then down. So up under the jaw and then all the way down. Continue to do them. I love this, not only because the vagus nerve is so prevalent in the throat and the neck, but because it feels really good. If you are someone who has to speak a lot for a living, or you find yourself in conversation a lot, this can be helpful. Energetically, the neck is the portal between the head and the heart. We want to make sure the heart informs the head with loving thoughts, loving memories. This is another one that you can do really anywhere. I don't think anyone is going to look twice if you're maybe sitting in traffic or waiting for the pot to boil. So a couple more, just because it feels pretty good. And then the next time that your thumbs are down by your collarbone, keep them there, and your hands are already in position. Just lay them on top of your heart space and make some circles. You can close your eyes if that feels okay, or cast your gaze down. Come back to center. And up to you. You can stay here, or you can do a little tapping. Take your fingertips and just tap from your sternum out to your shoulders. If this doesn't feel good, then you can choose a spot. Maybe it feels better just to stay at your shoulders. If your chest feels a little tender, you can make this your own. And then come back to center. One of the easiest and the most effective ways to activate your vagus nerve is through your breath. The vagus nerve runs through the throat, the heart, the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the primary breathing muscle. The vagus nerve runs through it. So when you do a diaphragmatic breath, that deep circular breath, low in the belly, you're activating your vagus nerve with every breath. If you feel your breath shallow up in your chest, that's often a sign that your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, is in charge. So sending your breath low in the belly can be really helpful and essential in creating that activated vagus nerve, the brain-gut connection, the parasympathetic nervous system coming on board. So probably the easiest breath to activate the vagus nerve is diaphragmatic breath, circular breath, it's also called. And that is when we breathe low into the belly, maybe widen through the side ribs. If this breath seems hard to access, you could grab a pillow, place it on your belly and lean into it. And sometimes that's a better way to feel what's happening lower in your body. So we're going to begin with a diaphragmatic breath, and then we'll move on to two other forms of breath work that you could use. And then moving forward, you can choose the one that works best for you. diaphragmatic breath. Before we begin, just take a breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Do that a few times just to notice your breath. So take a breath in, let it go. Do that a few times. Where is the breath coming from? Where do you feel it in your body? Is it long? Is it short? Is it staggered? Notice the quality of the breath. And then the next time we breathe in, notice the air as it comes pulling through the nostrils, going down through the throat. Send the breath down into the belly. Let the belly get full. So release and relax those abdominal muscles. We spend a lot of time in our lives tensing those abdominal muscles. You may have been told, pull your belly button to your spine if you've taken other yoga classes. Or there's just the cultural dictate to flatten your stomach. I'm saying, let that go. Let the abdominal muscles release so that the belly gets full and round. I like to think of the old master paintings in any museum you've ever been to, and you look at the female form and those beautiful, rounded, full bellies. So take a breath here, nice and slow, in through your nose. Notice that tug of the nostrils as that air enters your nose, nice and cool. It goes down your throat. Let the belly expand. Maybe the side ribs get wide. And think of your rib cage, your belly, the diaphragm like an umbrella that's opening. And then just let it come back to normal. We're not squeezing the air out. Just exhale. Notice the flare of the nostrils as that breath is released. Warmer now than when you began. Breathe in. Let it go, nice and slow. You can even put a hand on your belly if that helps to feel it. Breathe in. When you're ready, let it go. And continue a few more on your own. Don't worry if this is hard to feel. It takes a while. Remember, you can always take a pillow or even cross your arms. Lean into your thighs and feel your belly get bigger, expand on your inhale. And come back to normal on your exhale. Kind of like a blood pressure cuff that gets kind of puffy and full, and then when it's released, it just comes back to its normal shape. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. And if you're leaning forward, sit up. So we're going to do another breath now where we breathe in as we normally would. But when we exhale through pursed lips. So in through your nose, out through your mouth, like you're blowing through a straw. And what that does is it helps to engage the diaphragm. We really want our diaphragm to be engaged when we're breathing. Remember, it's our primary breathing apparatus. So we want to shift into parasympathetic nervous system, activate the vagus nerve by creating that muscular movement with your diaphragm. So this time, in through your nose, out through your mouth, through pursed lips like a straw, like that. So one more normal breath in and out. The next time you inhale, breathe in. Pause at the top of your inhale, and then exhale through your straw. Breathe in. Pause at the very top. Exhale through your straw. This time we're going to do it again, but see if you can exhale nice and long, longer than your inhale. And exhale so that there is no more breath left. You cannot exhale anything else. Breathe in. Remember to pause. Exhale. When we exhale in that way, it's amazing to me how much more we can exhale through a pursed lip than if it's just through our nose. So let's do another one. Breathe in. Pause. Let it go. Do one more in that way, and then I'll just let you know why we do that. So take a breath in, remembering to pause at the top of your inhale, and then exhaling through your straw. We want to exhale longer than our inhale because our outward breath is neurologically connected to the relaxation response in our brain. So when we hold on to that exhale, we're sending that message to the brain to relax, that everything's okay, nothing to worry about. When you're done with that breath, come to sit center in your chair and maybe just do a little bit of movement with your spine. Let it sway from side to side in this really gentle motion. And then come back to center. You can keep your hands anywhere on your legs, in your lap, or you can bring your hands to your heart. We're going to begin the physical part of our yoga practice now, the asana. So take a breath. Let it go with just a nice big sigh. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can take a moment to set one now. Your intention can be anything. It can be a word or a phrase that you resonate with, or a hope, an aspiration. And when you're ready to let that go, let it go. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. And we'll begin. So I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see, but you can stay where you are. So I'm turning to the side of my chair. I'm going to begin with cat-cow, just because it's a great way to kind of loosen up the spine, get your body ready for movement. Many people think that the vagus nerve has something to do with the spine. It does not. It does not get near the spine. It does not run through the spine. But bringing some movement to our spine helps us move in and out of the poses that we need to activate the vagus nerve. So we're nice, sitting tall on our sitting bones, sitting up straight. We're going to move first into cow. So, cat. Tuck your tail. Let your tail tuck under. You're rolling kind of back off the sitting bones, and the back is rounding. Let the chin drop down, release the neck, the head gets nice and heavy. And then come up all the way onto the sitting bones, press forward. The belly, the ribs, the chest, press forward, squeeze the shoulder blades back. And then move back into cat, going back and forth between cat and cow. Your hands can be on your knees, or you can grab a hold of your chair. Pay attention to your feet in this pose. Make sure that they are firmly on the ground. And maybe you're pressing them into the ground. Creating that sense of grounding, a little bit of stability. We'll do one more. Pressing forward, lifting up through the sternum, the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades back. And then coming back to center. From here, bring your hands back into prayer position and press them together. So it feels like you're squeezing. You'll feel a little bit of engagement in the pectoral muscles. So press your hands together and twist to your right. Only go as far as you can go. So your body will stop you. When it's gone as far as it feels is safe for you. So press your hands together and twist. Twisting poses really activate the vagus nerve. Take a few breaths here, in through your nose, out through your straw. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Stay here, or bring your left hand down onto the thigh or around it and twist a little deeper. You can bring the right hand on the side of the chair or back behind, using your hands to help you twist slightly deeper. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, turn to look over the left shoulder. Activating the vagus nerve as it runs through the stomach, the diaphragm, the heart, and the throat. And breathe. Bring your head back to center and untwist. Right hand comes onto the top of your right thigh, anywhere along that thigh. Press your hand into the thigh and press your thigh into the hand without picking your foot up. So just activate that muscle. Press the thigh into the hand into the thigh. And now switch hands. Bring that right hand out. And we're going to lift the left foot as we lift the left arm and lower. Lift, lower, lift, lower. You don't have to lift your arm very high. You don't have to lift your foot very high. We'll do one more. Both hands come behind that right thigh. Pick the leg up and bring it up as close as you can without tucking your tail. So we still want to keep a nice straight back. We don't want to do this. So pick the leg up, adding compression to the ascending colon. That colon that comes up on the right side of your body. This is great for digestion as well. Take a breath here. Maybe you can feel that belly expand and push against your thigh. If so, that's awesome. And then we're going to place that foot down. Other side. Hands come into prayer again. Push your hands together. And when you're ready, take your twist to the left. Breathing. So let's do 3 breaths here. In through our nose, out through that straw. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Release the hands, bring the left or the right hand all the way down to the thigh or around it. Left hand can come to your chair. Use your hands to maybe push yourself deeper into that twist. And once you're there, turn to look over the right shoulder. So we're getting this double twist, 2 directions. Your spine does love this as well. But breathing. Staying connected to your breath in this movement. And then shift your head back to center and unwind. So left hand on left thigh this time, press your hand into your thigh, press your thigh into your hand, just to kind of get an idea of what that feels like. Creating a little bit of tension along the left side of the body into the hip. And then we'll switch. Right hand on the left thigh, same thing. Press the hand into the thigh into the hand. This time reach the left arm forward. And on your inhale, we will lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. This particular little functional movement is good for activating the vagus nerve, but it's great for your pelvic floor and for walking. Let's do one more. And then both hands wrap around that thigh and bring it up. Don't worry about your foot. You can point the toes or leave them, the foot just flat. Remember, we're not tucking our tail. We're just bringing that leg up high enough so that we feel a little sense of compression in the descending colon. So the left side. Breathe in through your nose and out whatever way you want, whatever way feels good to you. And then we'll let that go. Walk forward so that your forearms are on your thighs. We're going to do a different kind of twist now with the thoracic spine. We're really going to activate your vagus nerve. So bring your right hand to your hip and then your left hand comes on the other leg. So you form a little bridge with your forearm. You can keep your hand here, here, or here, up to you. It doesn't matter which place your hand is. But on your inhale, we'll open up to the right. And as we exhale, the elbow comes down. It might cross over, or you might touch that knee. Up to you. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Breathe in. Breathe out 4. Breathe in. Breathe out 5. Inhale one last time all the way out and up. And as you exhale, come back. Other side. Left hand to hip, right hand on your leg. And open up. And then come back. So it can look like this. Hand can be on the shoulder. Hand can be on the head. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out 4. Breathe in. Breathe out 5. One last time, arm all the way out and up. And then exhale back down. And as long as we're here, let's forward fold. Let your hands slide down your shins. Stay here and practice your diaphragmatic breath. So the belly gets big. You can feel it against your thighs maybe. Walk your hands all the way back up. And then the right knee is going to point to the right. So a few ways you can do that. You can toe heel your foot to the side. You can pick it up and move it, or you can move it. And then turn to face that right knee. And bring the left knee down. So toes can be tucked or untucked. Your foot can come to a stool, a chair, a pillow, anything that might make it feel good. But we have a nice extension in the hip, especially that we've been compressing it a little bit. We're going to take another twist here. So the left hand comes on top of the right leg. The right hand comes behind you. Take your twist. Notice if this twist feels different than the other ones. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. On your next inhale, come back to center, and you could clasp your hands if you'd like to behind, or hang onto the chair and lift the sternum. We're not pulling on our elbows, so keep a slight bend in your elbows. Press your feet down, lift up. Bringing some space into the front body. Take a breath. And as you exhale, you can lean forward. Feel free to grab onto the chair or keep your hands clasped. Unclasp your hands. The left arm can stay reaching back or grab onto the chair. The right arm reaches forward. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Come all the way back up. And we'll turn to face center. And you'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Back of the hands on the insides of the legs. Press so that the legs open without kind of flopping forward. And it depends on what chair you have too. If you need to scoot farther, then go ahead, take a breath, and let it go. And we'll move to the other side. So our left knee is nearly there. So bring your right foot forward, whatever way works, and then turn to face the left. Letting this right knee drop, getting that nice extension in the right hip. And just taking a moment here. And of course, you can always step this leg back if you want to take it into a warrior pose. Take your twist. Right hand on the left leg. Left hand comes behind you. And find your breath here. Notice how it feels. Keep it low. On your next inhale, unwind. Bring your hands behind. Lift up through the sternum. So the sternum right here. We're not pressing our ribs forward so much as we're lifting up through the sternum. Find that space, squeeze the shoulder blades back, press the feet down as much as possible or as able. So depends on how long your legs are. My foot is barely touching the floor actually. And then lean forward. And remember, you don't have to keep your hands clasped. You can grab onto the chair. But activating the vagus nerve again on this left side, this descending colon. You have a decision to make here. You can stay here. You can release your hands, keep the right arm back, reach the left arm forward. or grab a hold of the chair. And breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Nice work for the core. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Come all the way back. Sit up and shift back into goddess pose. This time, move to the edge of your chair. So make sure you feel safe and stable, but it's the edge of your chair. We've moved forward from that center. Back of the hands, inside of the legs. Press the hands against the legs. Press the legs against the hands so you feel that bit of tension. Take a breath and let it go. Take a breath. Let it go. You can stay here, or you can bring your hands in prayer. You can stay here, or you can bring your elbows down to the insides. Maybe this is a time where you can recall your intention. If you are folded kind of halfway forward, release your hands and walk them all the way back up. We're going to keep our legs wide here, but if your feet are pointed out, you might want to bring them a little bit more towards the front, not totally, but not so much pointed out to the sides. We're going to kind of windshield wiper our legs from side to side. So hang on to the chair, bring your knees to one side and then the other. And you'll see you're kind of rolling to the inner and outer edges of your feet. Stay here, or the next time the knees are over to the right, hang on to the chair with your right hand, reach over with your left. Come back to center, other side. Go back and forth. Activating the vagus nerve as it runs through the trunk, the torso. And then come back to center. We will end this portion of our practice before we sit in meditation with a few sun salutations. So toe heel your feet together. I'm still a little bit more towards the top third of the chair, I would say. But find a place that feels good for you. Feet are planted down. Take a breath here. And on your exhale, lift your arms all the way out and up. And inhale, hands to heart. We'll just do that a few times. Exhale, arms out and up. And inhale, hands to heart. Exhale. As we exhale, our arms come up and our pelvic floor lifts. As we inhale, our hands come down, our pelvic floor lowers. Exhale. And inhale. Take a breath here. And we'll reverse that. We'll inhale, arms come all the way out and up, and exhale, fold forward. It can be forearms to the thighs, or you can release your hands to shins, ankles, to blocks, or to the floor. Release the neck. Inhale, hands to shins, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press your feet down. Energetically squeeze your legs together. They won't go anywhere, but you'll feel them squeezing. And then inhale, arms come all the way out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's do another one. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Arms all the way out and up on your inhale and exhale. Hands to heart. 3 is a good number, so let's finish with one more. Take your breath and fold. Lift and lengthen when you're ready. and fold. Arms come all the way out and up. Hands to heart. We're going to move into our meditation practice now. So find a comfortable place to sit. And if that means sitting, moving into a reclined position, finding a different chair. If you're on a hard chair and you want to move to a softer chair, then go ahead and do that now. And I will, I'm going to give you a minute to do that. I just got a message that says low battery. So 1 second while I grab my battery. Okay, wow. That would have been a disaster. So here we are. We're in hopefully a comfortable spot. We're going to do mindful meditation. Mindful meditation, there's just a couple things to remember. And they're simple, but I think that they probably, sometimes the simplest things are the most difficult. To create this spirit, this sense of mindfulness in your meditation practice requires a few things. Patience is number one. Especially if meditation is new to you, it's really hard to sit with your thoughts, to sit quietly, because your thoughts are going to invade. It's going to happen. The other thing is to have a beginner's mind, and that is an open mind. The mind of a beginner is open to everything. There's no judgments. There's no preconceived notions, hopefully. The mind of a beginner is receptive and non-attachment, non-judgmental. You are not your thoughts. If your thoughts come barreling through, that's okay. It's going to happen. You're going to be distracted. The cat's going to scratch, or the siren's going to blow. The heater's going to turn on, something. These things, these distractions are allowed to exist. They're allowed to exist alongside your stillness. You can be still, and they can be noisy, and both things are okay. So let's get started. And don't worry about the time. I'm going to keep track of the time. I have some chimes. When you hear the chimes, you'll know that it's time to kind of come back. Excuse me. So you found your comfortable seat in your chair or your sofa or wherever you are. We're going to begin just by allowing your eyes to close and then open. So kind of a long blink. So let your eyes close or just cast them to the floor. So certainly if it doesn't feel safe to close your eyes, or if you just don't enjoy having your eyes closed, cast your gaze down, or even look off to the middle distance somewhere if that feels better. And then you can open your eyes or just lift them up. And do that a few more times. So we're not just closing our eyes all at once. So we're taking our time to get there. When it feels sensible for you to close your eyes, when it feels natural, go ahead and close your eyes. And just breathe. Maybe your breath feels different than it did in the beginning, or maybe it's kind of going a little haywire right now. Whatever the case, just allow your breath to settle into your belly. Any thoughts that might be kind of passing in front of you, just to acknowledge their existence. And you can let them go. Any distractions, they exist outside of you. They are neither good nor bad, they simply are. And let them pass. You have nowhere else to be. You have nothing to do but breathe. And we don't really do much. We just allow. Allow softness and stillness. And we let go. You have nowhere else to be. But here. Now. Just bring some attention to your breath. Without changing it, just noticing. Start to become aware of some of the scents and the sounds around you. Maybe even wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your legs, your arms. Keeping your eyes closed, drop your chin to your chest. Take a breath in and recall your intention. Keeping your chin down, blink your eyes open. And on your next breath, center your head. Hands to heart. Thank you so much for sharing your yoga practice with me today. Thank you so much for joining.